Greetings all. Welcome back to another session here of Tuesday Talks. Today we're going to be looking into the use of Moodle a little bit more. It'll be our second installation here. And remember that if you do have any questions, you can certainly catch me online. Okay, today we're going to look at some of the user settings, and we're also going to look at some of the activities inside a standard vanilla Moodle course. Now obviously, if you're going to do a Moodle course, you're going to need a Moodle site that's set up here. Now this is what a standard vanilla course is going to look like in this installation. And so obviously you're going to need to log in, and you're going to need login information and a password. You need to be a teacher. But if you have a course, this is what a standard vanilla course might look like in this system. Let me just recap that Moodle is an open source course content management system. And it is probably the most popular course content management system that is open source. There are many schools that use this system. In my opinion, it's probably one of the more powerful simply because it has so many add-ons and modules that you can attach to it. Just to take a look here, and you can see that there are hundreds of modules that you can add in, hundreds of add-ons that you can link into your course. All of these things you can add to the course. If you like this particular thing, you can add it in. You can import it, and it's a little module that connects onto the main system. And like I say, I'm looking at here, I'm thinking hundreds, possibly even 1,000 or more different little plugins and add-ons that you can have to your website. Okay, so today we're going to look at, first of all, some of the user settings, and then we're going to look at some of the available modules that are there. First thing that we're going to look at is the user settings. These are important settings that you want to make sure that you take a peek at, and then you can modify some of the components that you're sharing and some of the components that have available to you. Let's click on participants in this course here. Actually, even before we do that, let's just a reminder that we have this little button here called Turn Editing On. And from there, we can turn on all the little buttons and switches. We can go into author mode. We can go into developer mode. And that's why all these little buttons open up. I know we've talked about these before, but that's where that button is. If you want to see what something looks like from another person's venue, so all you got to do is switch your role to somebody else, and you can become a teacher or administrator. You can see what they would see. Okay, so that if you're building something as a teacher, you're building something for your student, and you want to see how the students will view it, you can do that. Alright, let's again jump back into participants, and we're going to click on participants. Okay, and from here, you can click on you as a user. Okay, and I'm just going to be Captain Tight Pants right here. We click on your name, okay, from participants, and you've got a variety of things here that you can do. You can edit your profile, you can view your posts, your blogs, or any other systems that you've done. You can change your password, and generally there's a button here that says change my password. In fact, let me log in as an administrator. I can do this. I'm going to log in as Captain Tight Pants. And so now when I go to click on Captain Tight Pants here, this button here, I should be able just to look at his stuff here, right? And I see his email and I see his name. Let me click on Edit Profile. From Edit Profile, I have a lot of options here that I can do. So for example, I've got a bunch of email things that I can do here. I can see my email address, and you'll note that this one doesn't have a fill-in box. I can't fill this one in. That's typically not the case, but when I set up this installation of Moodle, I shut off the capabilities for students to edit their emails. Everything else, though, they can change. So for example, they can change their name. You can have a different name if you don't want your real name being seen, provided make sure that your teacher understands. You can change the city. You should add a description, right? Maybe who you are, what you're doing. I don't know that it's necessary. Actually, I believe it's necessary here, but it's probably a good thing to have just so that other people see what's going on. You can also upload a picture. So you can click on Browse and go find a picture of yourself and upload it. Of course, if you want a picture of, say, Inigo Montoya, you can go and get a picture of him and put that picture in here. Okay? There are also some advanced settings that you should take a look at. Those advanced settings include, at least for me, one important component. And that component is right here. Ajax and JavaScript settings. This is turned on to basic. Because it's turned on to basic, there are some things that you're not going to be able to get, so some features. So I like you to make sure that this is set to advanced web features. Because it's set to advanced web features, let's see here. Because it's set to advanced web features, I can now do more when I'm actually developing a page. Some optional elements here, all of your IDs for any of the systems that you may be using, just to let people know what it is and they can try to get to you. Okay? So those were some of the settings that we're seeing over here as far as your email, your advanced JavaScript, picture upload, changing your password. Okay? You'll go into your own personal profile and you can do all of those things. You can access your personal profile from your course under participants, or simply to click in the upper right corner if it's available, which is not available here. You can click in this upper right corner and click on your name and you can change any of your personal profile components. Okay? Alright. So we've come back here and let's turn on editing. Let's turn on editing. Okay, and again, as you remember before, I've got resources and I have activities. Resources, again, are non-gradable elements. Okay, so we can insert a label or a title or a web page or, show a directory. None of those are gradable. And then we've got something over here called adding activities. And it's the adding activities section that we want to take a peek at as we look at this, because we want to look at the assignments, forums, hot potatoes, and Flash Player. So those are activities that you can add. Now bear in mind that some of the activities that you're looking at do not come standard. Okay, they don't come standard with a vanilla installation of Moodle, but you can add them. Now I've added them. We've got advanced uploading. I don't believe that's standard. Online is standard. Upload is standard. Offline is standard. Peer review is not standard. So we've added these in. Take a quick look at just uploading a single file. You click on any element and it automatically goes to a setup page. Here's where I'll put in a title for the assignment. I'll have to put in a description. And in the description is where you would put things like directions to the student. Here this is a paper that you need to upload. It needs to be 3 pages. Double space. It's got to be in Klingon. You provide all the instructions for the student. You may also let them know that it's a graded activity, and when the deadline is. Of course, the deadline will be set up somewhere else, but at least you can put that in the description. You've got ways of grading your paper. You can give a number grade. You can use a rubric, and there may be rubrics here that you can set up. You set up a rubric. Let's just again say this is a paper. You set up a rubric and you do say you're going to grade 20 points on organization, 20 points on proper paragraph formatting, 20% on surface errors, 20% on, I don't know. Anyway, you can set up the rubric this way, and then you can provide descriptions for them, and when you grade them, you grade based off of the rubric. The rubric is created within this course, but it's usable in other courses, so you can import this from other classes and use it again. You can create rubrics. I'm not going to go into that here. Dates, you can set the dates, when it's due, when it's not due. You're going to prevent late submission. You're going to allow resubmitting. Okay, and then what kind of grade category is it? We've not set up grade category. So let's just save and display. Okay, so now we have the course and no attempts have been made to set up the course, to set up anything. Now what this means is no student has updated anything. No student has uploaded a paper, but they will be able to, right? They will be able to. You can update the assignment simply by clicking on update the assignment. You'll go back to the original setup page and you can modify it. Okay? Go back to the front page and you will see the work that we just made. Here it is. Okay? That's the work that we just put in. Again, we can move it, indent it, edit it, update it, delete it, hide it, or put it into groups. Okay, so let's just move this down a week just for fun. Okay, so now it's down into the first week instead of the main section, the main block at the top. Okay, so that's just a regular activity. there's online text. The difference between online text and a regular activity is that with online text, they don't upload anything. They simply put it right into the internet. You'll note the setup is basically the same. Okay, and I'll put a description here again. Okay, and I can again just give it a grade. I can modify all these, save and display. Well, save and display is just going to give you, hey, nobody's done anything yet, right? Let's go back here to the front. Okay, now I have two. I'm going to turn this on. I'm going to switch the role to be a student. Now, from a student's point of view, if I go to title for the assignment, I've got a place to upload it. I'm going to be uploading a paper, be it Word, be it OpenOffice, be it a PDF. I'm just going to upload it. If it's an online text, I'm going to edit my submission. A little different. I'm not uploading anything, right? So I click on Edit My Submission, and I can type online. I can just sit here and start typing. I can fill in information. I can obviously do a little bold italics and maybe font changing. When I'm done, I just save it, So I put in stuff. Right, save it. And now I have some component here that's there, right? Go back to the front page. Again, I can see those two differences between them. Let's return to my normal role and take a look at some other things that we can do. We've got uploading one, online. We have advanced uploading, which allows you to upload multiple files. Let's say that they're doing a project and they've got 3 or 4 papers, 3 or 4 things they need to upload, or maybe a picture or something. You can do multiple upload. You can do an offline activity. Again, the setup is going to be similar. You're going to have a title, you're going to have a description, you're going to have a grade, but students are not posting anything online. So, for example, you had a requirement that students, go to the store and buy a $1,000 bar, at the store. And they have to go, they have to talk to someone, they need to get the information about the cost, and then they need to go buy it and then bring it back to you. Well, none of that is tech related. But if they bring you the candy bar, you're like, okay, you get points because you completed this activity. Okay, that's what an offline activity is going to be good for. Lastly is peer review. And peer review is a little more complex because it's literally allowing your students to do a peer review online. What will happen is they'll have papers that they need to upload. And once they've uploaded them, after about 5 students have uploaded them, then what happens is the students now get emails saying, hey, you have a document to review. And they go back into the system and they review the document. And as they're reviewing the document, they provide a score for the students. And 2 people, at least, are going to review this document. And once it's reviewed, then, of course, the original owner of the document gets an analysis. Here, this is what happened with your document. 2 people gave you this grade. If there's a conflict, it then goes to the teacher, and the teacher has to resolve it. Maybe the teacher says, revise this again, or the teacher overrides and gives a grade. But the whole system is sitting within Moodle. It's an online peer review package so that all of your students are now involved in the peer review process inside Moodle, which means it can be graded. It's the nice thing about that. Can I do a save and display? I think I can. All right. This explains... oh, look at that. You can actually do it as an online text. I didn't realize. This explains what type of document you're allowed to upload. Okay, and here's criterion. You want to put in criterion that you're going to give for writing. And you can add in what the descriptions ought to be. Notice that none of this is required. But after you put it in, you can provide the grade score. Okay? So, oh, I have to create them. Look at that. All right, so I don't know what I'm putting in here. Formatting, content. Surface errors. I can add more if I want to, right? I'm just going to save and go. Oh, I missed one. Put it in the wrong place. There we go. Okay. So I've got these, this is my criteria, and here's the paper. I've got no submissions right now, but this is what it would look like when students do this. They'll upload the paper, and when they begin formatting, or when they begin doing peer review, they'll have to use formatting, content, and surface errors as their criterion, as their guide for when they're doing this. The big plus with this is not just the writing, but the fact that they're learning how to analyze other people's papers, and in the process, they're learning how to analyze their own. It's a great system to have, and it's a part of the upload. It's part of the activities segment that I've included in our system. Okay, and that's just one of them. There's also forums, and forum is basically a discussion board. And you can set up a discussion board. I would recommend that you do for all of your classes. Again, give it a title. Say, for example, greetings. If you've never met before and you say, hey, greet. And here you might have other things, right? You know, respond to others. You may have a rubric that explains how you grade. You know, you might have a deadline. Forcing everyone to subscribe. Subscribing is basically a way that all of this stuff gets emailed to you. I always turn that off because I don't want subscription. I don't want forum posts emailed to me. I will go look at them in the forum post. You can set up a grade. You can set up an average, a count, a maximum, a minimum, or a sum. I generally do a sum of grades. That's just me. And I'll give someone maybe 10 points for posting, and I'll give 3 points for responding. And so maybe the maximum that you can get is like 21 points type of thing. But you've got to respond to people in order to get to the maximum. Okay? You can put in thresholds. You can tell them you can only do so many, or you have to do at least so many. And of course, you can give a grade. When you're done a course, you can just display it. Okay? And how they do this is they'll come in, they'll read the information, they'll read the greetings, they'll read the responding to others, and then they click on add a new discussion. And they can now put in a title. Hi, my name is, you know, Captain Tight Pants. And then here I can put a greeting. You know, hello, right? Greetings. Greetings programs. Did I spell that right? Yeah. Okay. When they're done, they save it. They post it to the forum. And then other people can now read their post. And as they go on, as more people go on, then people then can reply to those posts. Okay? And it's just answering this one question. Generally, a forum answers one question. Okay, the next thing that I want to talk about is look a little bit at Hot Potatoes. And for those of you that don't know, Hot Potatoes is an application that you download onto your computer, and it's freely downloadable. You can download it to Windows, Mac, or Linux, and it allows you to create activities for your students. Things like multiple choice questions or sentence reordering activities, crossword puzzles, a cloze, C-L-O-Z-E, a cloze activity. So you can create a lot of those things. You can make them, and then you save them as a web document that you can upload and use in Moodle. So I do recommend that you come here and you download it. You click on this download button here, and you can download the kind that fits your system. Again, it doesn't cost anything, provided the materials that you're making are available to everyone, and then you can create and make a database of these materials. After you create a material, some materials, and then save it as an HTML file, export it as an HTML file, you can then upload those to the Moodle site. Okay, and just to let you know, if you want to learn more about Hot Potatoes, you can download you can go to YouTube and play with some of the tutorials that they have there that shows you how to use Hot Potatoes. So for us, we want to come here to our activities, and we're just going to click on the Hot Potatoes link that's right here. Okay, we'll just come here and we'll click on that link, and then we'll be able to upload a Hot Potatoes activity. Again, it's just another activity that you're adding. You can type in a name. We're not going to do that. We're just going to get it from the quiz. We're going to go look for a file. Notice that I don't have any on my site in my class folder, so I'm going to go upload some. I'm going to go find some on my hard drive and upload them. Teaching. And here I have a whole bunch of hot potatoes activities. We're just going to take this one here and see how that works. We'll upload that file, and then we'll choose it. Okay, and I can set up these other things like how to display it, how to control it when it's on or off, what type of grade to give. I can just give no grade also. So once it's done, we can take a look at it, and here's what one of them looks like. This is without the JavaScript settings because I don't have them set up, but you'll have 10 minutes to do some reading. Okay, I'm sorry, 5 minutes to do the reading, and then you get to answer the questions. Okay, and all the questions fit in with this particular reading. So I can read this and put in the answers, and then try to find the right answers to the questions. And it's timed, which is the nice thing about this. This is just one of the activities that's been made. You can make more activities. This is just one of them. And I have on my own site, I've got lots of different in particular close activities that are made with hot potatoes. So you can add those hot potatoes activities to your class page. And to be honest, somehow through the class, through the semester, you should be building some hot potatoes activities. So do yourself a favor, download some hot potatoes software and start playing with some of the activities before you try to upload them to your Moodle site. Let's see here. Last thing that we're going to look at are some of the Flash players that are available. Now there's a Flash player that's an actual activity here, which is a Flash FLV player, and with it you can input Flash activities, Flash readings right in here. At the same time, you can simply go to someplace like TED or YouTube, and you can look up some activity that you want to watch. I have no idea what this is, but well, actually, let's look up YouTube. Let's look up hot potatoes. Hot potatoes software, maybe, huh? How about tutorial? There we go. Hot potatoes reorder. That's in Spanish. There you go. Word puzzle. Maybe this one here. Okay. So we can click on this and we can find the share button that goes with this, and we can take this copy, bring it back to our class, and we can install it inside this video, inside the Flash Player video. Okay? Again, there are many activities that we can use. I'm just showing you one. This is a tutorial, right? Okay, and I put a hot potatoes tutorial, hot potatoes. Alright, so I pick a file, or I put in a file to upload, right? Now this is a YouTube file, okay? And that's all I need to do. I can put some notes in here if I want. I can put in some other limitations as to how it'll look, some of the way the file will play. I can do some with behavior. I can put in grades. Which Flash player am I going to be using? I can do that as well. And then I can save and then display it. Hopefully it'll display. Now recently YouTube was not coming up properly, so it's probably just going to sit here. But this video will play inside here, inside this tutorial. And you can run it that way. There are also blocks. And we didn't talk too much about blocks. But there are blocks, and it's these activities and things that are over here. All these are what they call blocks. And you can add more blocks. Here we are. You can add more blocks over here. For example, you can add a YouTube video block. Once you add a YouTube video block, there are videos that you can add in. So again, we click on Add, and here are some videos that you can add. Do you know 2.0? That's a good one. These are just videos that other students have put on to the I2Z site and that I can use or show you here. Okay, so here's a video. This is literally coming from YouTube, and I can show this in my class just as a what I would call incidental learning. You just set it over there and students can watch it, can view it. Okay, and those are some of the activities that I wanted to show you in here. Again, I showed you the assignments, I showed you the forum, I've showed you the player, and I showed you hot potatoes. If you do have any more questions about these, please let me know, and I'll be glad to talk with you later about it.